Hello and welcome. So today what we're going to do is talk about your minds. That's right, plural. We want to talk about your conscious mind and your unconscious mind because they're both so important to who you are and how you show up in the world. Now the distinction I want to start off with is in our body of work, we call it the unconscious mind. But you might also hear of it as the subconscious mind. So they are the same thing. The reason we call it unconscious is because we really believe that words hold power and meaning. And often when you say sub, it means less than. And what we really want to make that distinction of is that it's just different. It's conscious and unconscious. They're both powerful parts to who you are and how you show up. So let's talk first about the conscious mind. It's probably the one that you're most familiar with, right? So your conscious mind, first of all, is very verbal, very thinking, very conceptual. So it's where we really live most of the time. In your conscious mind, it takes time. It's very cognitive. It's thinking through all of the information, all of the data, trying to make sense of it. It wants to know why and really understand what's going on and understand the problem. If we were going to talk about goals, it would be the place in your mind that's the goal setter, right? So I want to make X dollars. I want to lose Y amount of weight, right? So that's your cognitive mind. One you're very familiar with because, like I said, we spend lots of time there. Now we also have your unconscious mind, which is very nonverbal. So it's instantaneous. It's experiential. It's about feelings. So remember, your conscious mind was about thinking. Your unconscious mind is about feeling. It knows all the answers and it knows the solutions already. So it knows them within. And it would also be considered our goal getter. So remember, we said your conscious mind, you're setting a goal consciously. I want to lose 50 pounds. But your goal getter is in the unconscious. So let's see where there can be a discrepancy here. If consciously you say, I want to make $400,000, that's a conscious goal you made. But what if unconsciously you have a belief that says money is bad? How do you think that's going to go? With no matter how much willpower you have, there's going to be a conflict that you're feeling inside between the two. And that can lead to challenges. And therefore, really, you are stuck, really, right, between kind of that rock and that hard place. So often, when we set these goals on a conscious level, if we have something going on unconsciously that we didn't resolve, that's a big part of the reason why we aren't achieving our goal. Now, your unconscious mind has certain characteristics of itself as well. Again, both sides of your mind really want the best for you. And what I would say is your unconscious mind is the one that in many ways, right, it's doing things that it thinks are serving you, but may not actually be doing so. So, first of all, your unconscious mind has no concept of time. So it feels like whatever's happening is happening in the now. It's why a lot of the fears you have of things from the past still impact you and can physically impact you, like they're happening now and make that heart rate go, because unconsciously, again, it has no concept of that time aspect of it. In addition, your unconscious mind and the universe, they don't understand the concept of negatives. And what I mean by that is, an example. Let's say you say, don't cross the street. What's the first thing the person you're with does? They cross the street. It's almost as if the word don't doesn't even exist. So the challenge is when you say, don't do this, or I don't want to forget my keys, what the universe and your unconscious mind hears is, forget your keys. So it's so important to frame things in the way that you want them. So for instance, you would say, remember my keys are here. Or I have a friend, she was single for so long, and she would always say, I don't want to be single. So again, her unconscious mind and her and the universe, they hear, I want to be single. So we really reframed that for her and said, what do you want? And so now she says, I'm ready for an intimate relationship. Right? She's putting out there what she wants, not what she doesn't want. So it's really important for us, and you'll notice how often we say what we don't want in something versus what we really do want. So the other thing that your unconscious mind can do, I kind of look at it as a storage unit. It's always trying to be efficient. And so what sometimes it will do is delete information. So if there's something that it feels will cause you pain, it might even delete it from your memory of what's happened. What it will also potentially do is distort things. And so what happens is, it'll make it fit into a box that might not be completely accurate. And you'll probably have experienced this before when you have talked to maybe a parent or a sibling about something that happened when you were younger, right? They have one recollection and you have a completely different recollection. It's because on an unconscious level, one of you or both of you may have distorted that to fit your concept. And what it will also do is generalize information. Again, it's trying to put it in that category. So let's say you were, bitten by a dog when you were younger. You unconsciously might then say all dogs are bad, or hurt by, a member, that you were dating, hurt by a man or hurt by a woman. Then it says all men are bad, right? So it makes this sweeping generalization and kind of puts that in the box. So you can see that now when those beliefs are formed based on what it has done, it could lead to challenging areas. So, those are the probably big differences between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Now, here's a shocking piece of information for you. How much time and how much capacity do we spend in the conscious? I said we really focus on that a lot, but honestly, that's 5 to 10% of our mind, when our unconscious is really more about 90 to 95%. Think of that. What's driving your day-to-day life and your actions is your unconscious mind, and yet we totally don't focus on that. It's kind of like an iceberg when you look at it that way. The tip of the iceberg above the water is your conscious mind, right? That's what we see. And yet below the water, right, is the rest of that iceberg, the 90 to 95%. So it's really important for us in this body of work to try to bring awareness to things, moving them from the unconscious to the conscious so that we can do something about it. So if you have a pattern or a behavior that's not serving you, and you might not know why, what we will do is work on bringing that awareness there, and then once you can change that awareness and change that behavior, you can change the result. So that's just a little tip on, a big basis of what we do here in this work, and some additional information on the conscious or the unconscious mind. Hope that helps. If you have any questions or want information or additional information, feel free to send us an email and we'll get back with you. Until we speak again, sending you peace, love, and light. Take care.